with it. Wood's got around the back, and Richie Wood has done it again! The magic man has come up with another trick! Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done! It's Georgie Kelly! Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up!
Hello everybody, welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and it is time to look at how stupid we all are. The first part of it, we're going to look back to the start of the season when everything was sunshine and roses, when we were all getting carried away by the optimism fed to us by Steve Evans, and look at how bad some of our preseason predictions were. There are some bad ones, and we talked about this before we started recording. There is a shout for the worst set of predictions ever made on this podcast tonight. We'll see what we think. We'll also talk about the lack of retain list as well, but that'll take about 5 minutes. Mick, first of all, how are we?
I'm all good, mate. Thanks. You?
Yeah, very good. Still basking in the glow of being a champion for the first time in your life?
Yeah, look.
Oh, harsh.
We can't let him get too high, can we? We've got to keep dragging him down a peg or two.
Listen. It says on here, the ultimate human.
Fair enough. Danny's back. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm not too bad. No final day delight for me, but it was always going to be a tall order. I think Peterborough winning that game.
Absolutely. But it was close. It was pretty close. Ben's back. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very, very good. Thank you very much. And Tom's back. How are you doing, Tom?
Yeah, excellent. Looking forward to hearing everyone else's really bad predictions.
Absolutely. They're great. Anyway, let's comment. John says, next season starts here then. How are we excited? YouTube says, good evening, one and all. Can we have Woody back, please? Coaching. Terry Frim says, evening all. Woody and Pelt's back for him. The rest will follow if you build it, they will come. Dylan Cole says, good evening, everybody from Doncaster Hospital. I've had surgery, so don't make me laugh too much. I won't worry about that.
That's not right, is it?
Steve's with us, as is Elizabeth Smith, Stephen Mick, Cheryl Stone, and Paula Rhodes saying, do we get an emergency podcast if Woody comes back? Yeah. Probably not. But we'll see. Right, let's tick off the retain list or lack of, Mick. Most clubs, and I haven't seen a full list, but I've seen a lot of retain lists released over the last couple of days. Well, since the season ended. Does it matter that we haven't been told? We've talked a lot over the last couple of years about communication and clarity and everything else that comes along with that. And the players must have been told by now. They have to have been told by now. So why haven't we?
I mean, you come to the wrong person, really. You should have gone to conspiracy theory. He's a big fan of conspiracy theories, isn't he? I wouldn't look too deeply into it. Let's not get too worried about it yet. If we're still sat here next Thursday saying we ain't got a return list yet, then maybe then we could start to show a little bit of concern. But I'm sure he's getting his ducks in a row. So he's going to have had some difficult conversations anyhow with these last few days, I would have thought, because there's going to be players who will probably feel that they've got a chance or should have had a chance of not being given one, and some who thought they were leaving, maybe not. So I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerned about it at all, to be honest. But yeah, can be if you want.
You can, yeah, fair enough. Mick, Ben, sorry, you like I said, conspiracy theories, etc. Do you sit in the fence where this should be done, sealed, and everybody should know about it, or you kind of more chill like Mick?
I'm kind of like Mick. I mean, who says that they have done it though?
Well, Martin just said he was having the meetings on Tuesday.
What, every single player?
That's what he said. The meeting should be done by Tuesday, and the retailers should follow shortly. Is what he said.
I don't know, mate. I don't think there's any conspiracy theory behind that. I think probably poor communication. I mean, we can sit and read into it, but it might just can't come down to the fact that it's just poor communication. It might just be that way. It's just bad from the club to not release it. It might just be that.
Yeah. it maybe feels that way, Danny, because the players should know. Like I said a minute ago, the players should know a few days after the season finishes what their future. Obviously, if you're in contract discussions, that's a different thing, because there's a special category that says in discussions with players. So you should still be able to release that information. I don't really get what the wait is. If I was any other club as well, I looked last season. We released it 3 days after the season finished. So it was very, very quick. This is more than that now, 4 or 5 days after the season finished. So it's longer than normal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at clubs like there is the argument saying that it's clubs who have nothing to play for have released their retain list first. Like Doncaster knew they were promoted, so they've released theirs only a few days after. Same with Bolton and teams like that. But then it's like, well, hang on, we're like that. It's like how much of a decision needs to be made for next season? Is it a case of do we want to hang on to him just in case we can't get somebody else we're looking at? And that's where the discussion topic is. Are we sure we want to release this player? I mean, Matt Amshaw said in a few interviews where he's like, do I want to release him? Can I do something more with him? So there's that going on. Maybe it's just as simple as it's Matt Amshaw's first management gig and he's not too what's the word? He's not had the experience of doing it before, so he doesn't have the chance. He doesn't have the knowledge to do it as quickly as other clubs do.
Yeah, the worry is, Tom. I'm sure that.
Why do we care?
Because you need to know your retain list, so you know what you need to do in terms of bringing players in and out.
We don't.
He don't. Yeah, we don't.
Hey, if he knows,
So we should know. So we should know. So it doesn't matter if we're told or not.
I think on 8 out of 10 players, we know what the verdict's going to be anyway.
Go on, Tom. What do you think?
Oh, it'll be released tomorrow because they know that we do a podcast on a Thursday and they don't want to talk about it. It'll be tomorrow.
There's the conspiracy theory. I like it.
Simple as. Yeah, there you go.
Well, we're doing an podcast tomorrow then.
Exactly. They listen to it too much. That's why they moved the press conferences to Friday as well.
Yeah.
See?
I'm with Mike here. Can't see what all fuss is about. Absolutely. Can't see what all fuss is about. Don't worry about it. Come on.
Well, the thing is, there's one or two things that's happened. Either Matt Amshaw's decided, and we're just not being told, or we don't know 5 days after the season's finished who we're keeping, who we're getting rid of. And either way, I don't think that's very good.
Or there is another possibility.
Go on.
There is another possibility. I saw Sam Todd driving out at 2:00 this afternoon. If he had a dentist appointment this afternoon, he hadn't had a chance to put it out yet. It could be that as well.
Yeah. Could be that. Yeah. Well, let's wait and see what happens. You know what you're going to do. Right, let's move forward by moving backwards. We're going to go back to the start of the season. We're going through these 4 guys as pre-season predictions. Next Thursday, we'll do Joy, Kev's, and mine, unless we've got somebody else's. So let's get ready to laugh at people. So there are the categories we predicted were player of the season, rising star, breakout star, top goal scorer, most assists, most minutes played by an outfield player. Will Steve Evans still be here? Total points and finish position.
I'm worried about these, by the way. These could absolutely ruin our credibility.
What
credibility?
What the hell are you talking about?
The minute sliver of credibility we've got is going out the window with these. I'm scared.
I think what I would say before we start, one person's had a stinker tonight, and everybody else has got some stinkers, but has got some good predictions as well. So let's go through it. So I'm going to go through category by category. I've sent everybody their predictions so they can tell us what they are. And I don't know whether we'll give a point for the person who did best or who did worse.
I think it should be most points wins. I think it should be like golf. The more positive your points are, the worse you are.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So we're going to start with player of the season. And we're going to start positive on this one, Danny. Tell me who you predicted as player of the season.
I predicted Hakeem Adofin.
Slam dunk. There you go. Easy as you like. I think Danny's getting the point on this round, no matter what anybody else has put. But Mick, would you like to tell everybody who you picked as player of the season?
Well, I mean, I need to qualify this because it doesn't really count.
Oh yeah.
I picked Andre Green, and he's played about 3 minutes all season. He's been injured. But the thing is, if he'd been fit, then he might have been played at season. We'll never know, will we?
Oh God.
Yeah.
At least with everybody else's, we know that they weren't. Andre Green, we don't know. He might have been.
We've got
Andre Green played 13 league games. 5 of those were substitute appearances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. You would think from there that things can only get better.
Oh God.
Ben and Tom, you both went for the same player of the season.
Did we? Oh, Ben, we've had a stinker.
You played nothing as well, Tom.
Who did you?
Oh
who did you
yeah.
pick
No,
as player
I
of the
put
season?
I put a Duffin. That's ridiculous.
What did you go for? Sorry.
Oh, a certain man who's not with us anymore, Joe Hungbo.
You did go for Joe Hungbo. I can't
Yeah.
find.
In
one
all
on the list.
fairness,
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Steve Evans was manager, so everyone's been mismanaged. So he's all technically void. Just saying. I'm just saying. Technically, they're all void.
Okay. You can
I'm
say
not
it
looking
like,
forward to the finish position and total points category, to be honest.
How have I managed to pick out the player that finished the season, but he's also the player of the season anyway?
I don't know. But actually, Joe Hungbo played the same amount of games in league games as Andre Green, so it actually just as bad, although more substitute appearances than starts.
Yeah, and to be in mine and Ben's defense, I think pre-season he was probably the most exciting player in pre-season, and he, based on his pedigree of playing in the Bundesliga 2 or whatever it is in the Championship, and if he was in his if we played with wingers and he was played every game, he was a really exciting player who, probably could have done a bit, but yeah, again, like Ben said, I think there should be void.
Yeah, but with the greatest of respect, you picked him knowing that he's an exciting player, he's a young player, and then you don't look at who manager is.
Yeah, this is true.
You know what I mean?
Optimism. It was optimism.
At least I picked an experienced player who we could name drop. That was my
an exciting winger.
Yeah,
Andre Green.
Well, yeah, but he's come from Villa, hasn't he? And I'm sure there's some Scottish connections at Villa they could name drop.
Your prediction's worse, Nick, because we knew he wasn't going to be fit until November.
Yeah, but
we knew that.
That is true.
We knew that in July. We still picked him. But yeah, Danny gets the first point of the evening. Darren Cook says, rubbish at predictions, masters of chocolate.
Indeed.
We'll take it. We'll take that. Right. The next category is Rising Star. Now, this was a very easy pick because it was 50-50. You either had Jack Holmes or, if anybody remembers, a Sapper a Song. So it was a 50-50 pick who you went for. Danny, you went for Hacks on the first one, riding high. Which one of those two did you go for?
I went for a song.
I'm
I'm claiming the same excuse that Tom and Ben had, by the way. It was mismanaged by Steve Evans and then sodded up.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Ben. I want to take this back, by the way. I've scribbled out as your first prediction for Player of the Season. You originally picked Cam Humphreys and changed your mind, which would have been a not bad prediction. But anyway,
thanks for rubbing it in, mate. Appreciate that.
That's what we're here for. I'm not doing my predictions tonight, so I ain't going to worry about it. Sapper Song played 6 league games for us in total. Tom,
yeah,
who did you go for?
The wrong 50-50. I went for a Song as well. Again, based on the premise of Nottingham Forest Premier League 2 or whatever, he more or less bang him in at youth level. He comes in and plays 6 times. I mean, what can you expect? And there's not a lot to choose from at Rotherham with regards to youth players. So I hope next season we get a choice of 4 or 5 to 6 players, including those that are coming through the academy at the minute. So again, another null and void question, which we'll see the adjudicator.
Well, Mick will agree with you on this one because Mick, who did you go for?
A Song.
Yeah. Ben, who did you pick as the Rising Star?
Jack Holmes.
Jack Holmes.
Should we end it there? Oh, got cramp in my hamstring. Sorry. Should we just end it there?
We can.
In my predictions there, I think is probably the best idea.
It's probably best for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the first two. Right. The next category is going to be one where there's maybe a bit of argument. It's a very subjective one. The category is breakout star. So this is not somebody necessarily who's young who then has a good season. This is somebody who goes above where you expected them to be, realistically. So I mean, Ben in the past did pick Richard Wood, and he did have a good season. He did go above the level, so he would have had a point for that one in the past. Although it's a wild pick, not as wild as others, but we'll come on to that. So, Tom, I'll start with you because you're first on my list. Who did you pick as the breakout star? And this will be a discussion to whether it's a valid suggestion.
So the suggestion I gave at the time, and I still stand by it now, was Sam Nombe, and based on the fact that he came in and had a very under par season with Rotherham in his first season, he was a real no starter really. Didn't really get going, so I thought this season is going to be his season. Score 15. I think I predicted probably 15 goals and 6 assists or whatever he's on. I probably predicted it perfectly, and it's no. Look, I just I took breakout star as someone who is going to elevate the team better than they did the season before. So I think Nombe has done that, but critically, I don't think he probably is the breakout star. But if nobody else gets better, I'm taking the point. So
okay, fair enough. I think Nombe's a really good shout. I think it's a really good shout as a breakout star. Yeah, he's certainly in the last 2 months he's gone to another level. He's taken the team to another level as well. Does anybody have an opinion on that?
No.
Class.
So, I think that's a fair comment from Tom picking Sam Nombe. He's right. He had a stinker last season, and this season, he has been a breakout star in an otherwise poor team. Because what did you say his stats were on the final day, Matt? Was it 15 goal involvements this season?
15 goals and 5 assists. So
he's had 20 goal involvements in an otherwise poor season for us. That is very, very good.
Yes. Who would you say the breakout star is, Tom? He says, you don't think he is the breakout star? Who for you is the breakout star?
It's difficult because when I was thinking about it then, it was one of those where it's tough to bring anyone from last season and consider them to be this season a breakout star. But for me, I would put Sean McWilliams in there based on the premise that he came in as, for my opinion, a sort of, and this is very I don't think we have a lot to choose from. And he was essentially, for me, a squad player. Northampton didn't really play him, this, that, and the other. I didn't really see the point in us signing him. And actually, whenever he's played, he's improved the team, a lot. His physical attributes are so good that I can see him starting at right wing back next season or in the centre of midfield. I think he's good enough to, especially if he adds goals and assists to his game. So that is one that I'd rival, but then also I don't think he's played enough to sort of rival it. So yeah, that's why I mentioned it.
Fair enough. Mick, your man crush got in the way a little bit of this one. Who was your breakout star?
Well, I don't think it's going away at all. I think it's a nailed-on winner in Joe Powell. Absolutely.
Okay.
So you think Joe Powell was more of a breakout star than Nombe?
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to have to go to a vote.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's improved as the season's gone on.
Yeah,
quite frankly, and it's come to a head with some really, really decent performances under Matt Hamshaw. And we talked about it last week about the fact that he's only got one or two other little bits and pieces to add to his game, and he's going to become a really, really effective and a really good midfielder. So. Yeah, I stand by it. I'm comfortable with that prediction. I thought that was a winner when I forgot what I picked, obviously. As soon as I saw my predictions, I thought, yeah, that's a winner. I'll have that.
We'll wait till the other two predictions have been confirmed, but then people in the comments can vote who they want to win from this one, because I think interesting. Danny, breakout star.
I went for Jack Holmes with this one. And I think I can remember my reasoning between Rising Star and Breakout Star. I think with the song being 19 at the time, I think he was, on loan from Wolverhampton, it's like, he'll be more of the Rising Star because he's got like the career in front of him sort of thing. But with Jack Holmes being the Breakout Star, I mean, he's come from non-league, and whenever I've seen him on the football pitch, both in highlights and in person, he hasn't looked out of place at all in a very standard-looking League One team. So to make that jump of, was it 3 divisions? I think. Yeah, two or three divisions from where we signed him from. I wouldn't exactly say he's announced himself, but he's certainly had the breakout into league football. And so, yeah, that's my argument for why he's the breakout star, because he wasn't an established league player until he came to us, and I'd argue now he is one.
Okay. Now we have to wait for Ben to try and justify his prediction. Ben, tell the group who you thought would be the breakout star.
Well, I also think this one should be Boyd, because the man I picked scored 31 league goals one year and 27 the next. Not whoever was in costume playing for us this year. That's who I picked, so mine should be Boyd again, because I picked Clark Harris. I did not
can't just void things because you're rubbish.
I did not pick whoever wore number 9 to play for us this year, because that might have been Mick. It might well have been. Honestly, that's how bad he were. And that prediction, that might be one of the worst predictions ever made. In hindsight, it's not, because he scored 31 league goals in a year and then 27 the next.
Yeah,
What?
In the category of breakout star, I don't know how he could be a breakout, because to go better, he'd have to get 40.
Not really.
Well, yeah,
if he got 25 goals, if he got 20 goals, 25 goals, you're telling me he won't be a breakout star. Best player on team.
No, he'd have got what I expected.
Oh, leave it out.
We all expected him to get 20, and we'll come to your top goal scorer prediction in a minute, Ben. We all thought he should be getting 20 odd goals a season. So he would have to have got astronomical figures to be a breakout star for me.
So why didn't you say that to me when I made that prediction then?
I'm almost certain that I would have done.
I disagree. But anyway, it should be Boyd anyway. It should be Boyd.
Not void. You can't just void things because you get them wrong. It's not how it works, Ben. Right. So we're going to have to put this to a semi-vote. Nombe, Powell, or Holmes?
Oh, can we ask the people watching to put it in the comments what their vote is out of Nombe, Holmes, and what was the other one? Sorry,
Powell.
Nombe, Holmes, and Powell. Tell us what your pick is, and whoever gets the most votes, say by 8:30 wins.
Where are we? 23. We can do. Ben, very wary of asking you for your opinion after you see your predictions, to be honest with you. But which one of those three would get your pick as the breakout star?
Nombe.
Yeah, I agree. I will win Nombe. I assume you're sticking with Powell. I'm assuming you three are sticking with your own predictions.
No, I think I might change mine to Johnson Clark Harris.
I mean, right, we've got.
Well, if I go for Johnson Clark Harris, does that get a majority vote? 2-1-1.
I've took Johnson Clark Harris out of the running already, to be honest with you. Yeah, it'd be like the Boaty McBoatface vote, just picking a vote because it's funny, wouldn't it? We're not having that. We've got Apollo Rhodes says Powell, so does Darren Cook and Richard Dimbleby. We've got much more for Nombe. Steve, Mike, Stevie Mick, Cheryl Stone, and Terry Femby saying Nombe. So unless we get a wave of Joe Powell's, Nombe is getting that. None for Jack Holmes, Danny, unfortunately.
And then obviously Damien picking up that he changed it rules again halfway through, man.
Very sensitive.
It's just because it's funny. That's all.
Paul Riggers, Nombe every day and twice on Sunday. I agree. Nombe's been excellent. I think that's a good shout. Top goal scorers. This was almost a 50-50, I thought, at the start of the season. Because we heard Nombe, Clark Harris, and you could have picked Hugill, but I think that would have been an outside pick. Tom, you went for Nombe as your breakout star. Did you go for Sam Nombe as the top goal scorer?
I did indeed. I went for, because I can't really remember my reasoning at the time between him and Clark Harris. I think I just backed myself in that he was I just thought Nombe would have a really good season this season. And but there was times when he didn't look great. But for 80 to 90% of the season, he looked like the best player for us on the pitch anyway, going forward especially. So yeah, quite happy that he came out quite comfortably top goal scorer as well in all comps.
Yeah, 15 goals in all competitions. Johnson Clark-Harris got 8, and I think Wilkes got 10. So yeah, but bearing in mind Wilkes was signed after these predictions were made, which is never ideal, but it is what it is. Mick, who did you go for as top goal scorer?
I went for Mr. Number as well. Bit of genius there, I think. Genius there, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your first point, but yeah. Danny, who did you go for top goal scorer?
Well, if you take Ben's logic for rising for breakout start and apply it to top goal scorer, that was my logic. So I've picked Johnson Clark-Harris, and clearly I had more faith in him than anybody apart from Steve Evans. But in hindsight, I was quite stupid not to pick Nombe because that writing was on the wall from the beginning, really.
Yeah, we think we'd have to pre-season. The last game in pre-season, or the one before last, where he got 2 at Grimsby, Clark-Harris, or 1 or 2 at Grimsby. So I can see why we all went for top goal scorer, not breakout star, but top goal scorer. Ben, breakout star Johnson Clark-Harris. So I assume Johnson Clark-Harris was always going to be a top goal scorer.
Yeah, but like I said, man, I didn't go for that guy who played for us this year, so I didn't pick him. But it's Boyd.
Boyd was it? Okay. Okay, fair enough. We are having fun. Right. Most assists. So the breakdown is Joe Powell has the most assists, 10 assists in all competitions. Let's go from right to left. Benjamin, was your most assist prediction any better?
This probably is my most reasonable prediction on the entire thing.
You've already got the Jack Holmes point, so go steady.
Yeah, well, apart from Jack Holmes, that was 50-50. So I went Nombe. I thought that is very reasonable.
Yeah. Not right, but, reasonable.
Yeah, but not right. I'm not going for right, mate. I'm just going for just somewhat reasonable.
Yeah.
Because when we get on to the ones after this, you think I've had some bad ones before? Wow.
I think we all. I think it's not going to look good for any of us, is it?
No, he got 5 assists, some number. I think he was second top in terms of assists, although Wilkes may have snuck in there a second. I haven't got Wilkes' stats because nobody picked him because obviously he wasn't there. But 5 assists is not too shabby. Danny, who did you go for?
I went for Hungbo.
Yes.
I don't know whether to leave it there or even just attempt to defend myself. Because again, if he was coached correctly, then maybe. But because he wasn't, he was coached by an idiot. But then he's just done nothing and sodded off. I don't even know where he's ended up. Where did he end up?
Wigan, but I don't think he's played very much there either.
No.
Oh,
well. Joe Hungbo managed just a total of 0 assists in all competitions. It's not ideal.
Might as well have picked the groundsman, mightn't I?
You may as well have picked Dylan Phillips. Mick, who did you pick for the most assists?
Well, mine didn't even make it out transfer window.
He did not.
First one.
No, he did.
So, did he?
Yeah, we sold him in January.
Oh, I thought we sold him in before the season started. Chris T.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember you picking this because I gave you the stat. I think he had 1 assist in his career before this season.
Yeah,
Mick just sees things that others don't see. That's why he's got the belt behind. That's why he's got the belt behind him. Yeah.
Mick is the Malik Wilkes of this podcast. He's either up there or he did get 2 assists, so it's still better than Danny's somehow.
Thank you.
And Tom, who did you pick?
I went for Joe, but I went for Powell as opposed to Hungbo.
Good, great shout. Tom, you will do well to not take the points home tonight. I don't know if it's overall, but there are 4 categories left.
Yeah.
Right, the next one. Most minutes played by an outfield player.
Oh, wait, can we just skip this one? Can we go?
Yeah, no, I agree. Can we please skip this one?
Can we not?
Absolutely not. Because we've still got ideally half an hour to fill. I don't see how that happens from here. Because 3 of you went for the same one.
Yeah, because it was reasonable.
And it's still not the worst prediction.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh,
So
no.
the most minutes, let's just clarify, most minutes played. Oh, probably is the worst. Hacks is the most. He played 4,415 minutes, which equates to 49 games. 90 minutes played in that time. So, Tom, tell everybody who you, Danny, and Ben went for.
Yes.
Oh, God.
I was hoping that I was for a minute. I thought Mick, Danny, and Tom went for a prediction, and mine was the even worse one. So thank you for saying my name.
Sean Raggett, and I think when you look at preseason and think that he hadn't been injured in 4 years, he's a big centre half who Steve Evans likes. He was never going to get dropped in that regard. He was only ever going to not play if he got injured. Hence, him getting injured for more or less the entire season. He must have played like 90 minutes total. It's a pretty bad shout, but at the time it seemed all right. But I'll happily eat humble pie for that one.
He played 828 minutes.
More than I thought, actually.
Basically,
I thought it was less than that.
Competitions. So he built himself back to fitness in quite a lot of Papa John's games or Virtue Trophy games.
True.
Having checked the stats, Mick, yours is not technically worse than theirs, but it still isn't great.
I think it probably is.
You are going to get the point for this, unbelievably.
You have got to be kidding me.
Did you pick Hugill or Clark Harris?
Hugo, yeah.
Yeah, of course you did. You absolute melon.
He played about 500 minutes more than Raggett this season with 1,300.
Well, I mean, I might, but listen, I'm the ultimate human, it would appear. Because, I've won again. I genuinely thought, when you were saying about Sean Raggett, I thought there's no way you was played more than him. No way on this earth.
Somehow he did. But anyway, that's all competitions, and Hugo played basically every single game of the Virtue Trophy. So maybe if it was league, it might have been slightly different.
Yeah.
I'd love it if.
It sounds like a null void, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've written down all competitions here.
All right, fair enough.
I don't remember hearing that. I'll have to check the footage.
That point for me is a little bit like Sam Numbers goal against Cambridge, isn't it? It's gone in off my arse.
Correct.
Flat on floor.
So the next one is: will Steve Evans still be here at the end of the season? Yes, 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 and yes.
Yeah.
In my defense,
yeah.
In my defense, the only reason I said yes was because I didn't think that Tony Stewart would have the balls to get rid of him. That was the only reason that I said yes. Otherwise, it would have been a resounding no from me. But anyway, that's just mitigation for a crap prediction. But yeah, that was my thinking behind saying that.
Yeah. I think it says more about our faith in Tony Stewart than it does with our faith in Steve Evans, that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think it was a collective. I will check next week, but I don't think anybody thought he would leave, bear in mind the circumstances. I think we all thought he'd be reasonably successful, as in top half at least. And also, I think we said on the podcast, I can't remember if we said it or whether we opposite off air, that the only way he'd sack him is if we were almost in a relegation fight come February, March time. And it kind of exactly so. Yeah, Cheryl Stone, no one foresaw just how bad it was going to be, though. 100%, Cheryl. It was beyond what we thought it was going to be. So there we go. That's that one ticked off. No points for anybody on that one, unsurprisingly. Right, the next two are combined. So we'll go who gets closest. It's a point for each in terms of total points and the finish position. I'll go left to right in terms of what I've got on my paper. Tom, give me. We'll start with. We'll do both total points and finish position, please.
I put. So I think myself, along with everyone else, based the points off of where we thought we'd finish based on the season before. So I put third because I thought probably going to drop out of that top two. Didn't think we had quite enough to get automatics. And therefore that would have meant we finished on 87 points, which is, pretty high. And you know what? Even now, I think looking at the table now, I don't have it to hand, but 87 points would have been, you would have been fighting for the certainly second to the very wire, wouldn't you? So in hindsight, I think even if we were to have been in the playoff push, I think 87 would have been a bit high. So yeah, I think 30 points off or whatever it was inevitably is maybe it doesn't look as bad considering how tight the table was in the top four. Top four.
Yeah, we were 87 would have got you third. Stockport that finished on that one. So obviously, we haven't pin on goal difference could have been. You got the references right in terms of points to position. You got that right. You got that spot on. Sadly, Rotherham United were nowhere near that. Mick. Sorry, next. What was your point and finish position, please?
It was marginally closer to what we got than Tom, but not much. I think I said we'd finish sixth on 80 points. So I was a little bit closer to the dire outcome that we actually got, but nowhere near really. Again,
that would have been correct. Though 80 points would have got sixth. That would letting Oyot finish sixth and seventh on 78 points.
This is genuinely kind of ridiculous from us.
It is really.
That's 2 for 2. Just not us being there.
It ends there.
Oh.
Danny, talk to me about total points and finish position.
So I went for finishing position of third as well. Clearly, I had a lot more faith in Steve Evans than what actually happened. But I must have predicted Birmingham and Wrexham to absolutely run away with the league and us to have a huge scrap in the playoff because I went for 83 points for third.
Yeah, that would have still kept us sixth based on how the table ended. Ben?
Well, I feel like this is a bullying. Yeah, because you're leaving me to last every single time.
Oh, my God.
Ben's seen through my cunning plan.
In fairness, such a bad prediction from me, and fair enough, I didn't think Birmingham would do what they did. I thought they'd spend big, and I thought they'd flop it. I didn't think they'd get 115 million points, or whatever they got. I thought they'd flop it. I didn't think they'd do what they did. I thought they'd spend big and flop it.
Stop delaying.
Anyway, moving on.
You said first, didn't you?
Yeah.
How many points?
The points. Well, the points does not match the position. I think I'm 15 off. I said 93, which I don't know what league that gets you first. Premier League, maybe.
We finished behind Wigan. Wigan would have won league with that when we went up. We got 92. I think they got 93.
Oh right, okay. Well, thanks for trying to console me. Yeah. But 93 and first. That was just a hope. That wasn't. I don't think I meant that in any way. So again, Boyd, I would say.
Yeah. So 93 points would have got you second this year.
That is a bad set of predictions.
Yeah. So Ben was 34 points off and 12 places off. Tom, we were 28 points off and 10 places off. Danny was 24 points off and 10 places off. And somehow, Mick, you were the closest by being 21 points off and 7 places off. Somehow, Mick gets a double point at the end.
Fair play.
Yeah, fair play on that one.
Fair play.
Well,
can't argue.
That means, sadly, Mick wins this tonight's.
Do I get another belt?
No.
No way. How many points were in it? I thought I was going to walk this.
You got the number for breakout, number for top scorer, and Joe Powell for assists. That's
Oh,
it.
never mind. Yeah, no, I didn't get many. No,
Your player of the season and it's in the Humbo and your Rising Star of a song really cost you.
Yeah.
And Ben, thanks for turning up, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how many points Evans and Rayner's poor management selections and tactics cost us. Shellstone saying at least 30. And that would have put us 89, put us in 89, second and promoted. Well, it would have put us just behind Wrexham, technically in third, if puts and maybes. So yeah, there we are. We will finish off next week, so we'll keep Mick's as reference for next week to see if anybody can beat him from there. I'm not convinced we will because we've had a rotten prediction. But there we go.
Rotten prediction for a rotten season.
Yeah.
Now all we've got to do is find something to talk about for 20 minutes.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I understand that Richard Wood's retired.
Oh,
That's
here
it.
we go.
So maybe we could discuss the impact he had on our club and probably, arguably, as importantly, the impact our club had on him. It's a hell of a career, 39 years old and hanging up his boots. Hopefully, maybe, possibly, looking for a new job with somebody he knows in a coaching role.
Oh, no, I think you could say as a podcast host.
Or as a podcast host, whichever, yeah. I'm sure his predictions will be damn sight better than ours.
After the corruption we've had to endure this season.
Well, yeah, there's that as well, yeah.
He's someone fairing. Yeah.
He's heard that there's a belt online, so he's going to join podcast and just for prediction league.
Yeah.
He finishes on 5 promotions, finishes his career winning the league, Danny. I mean, yeah, fine, it's League 2, who cares? He's an EFL League champion for the first time ever in his career. Literally sailing off into the sunset and doing whatever he wants next. It's what a way to end your career.
Yeah, it is. It's a brilliant way to end. Just a shame it's with Doncaster. But no, he had absolutely stellar time with us. 9 years total, handful of loans, broke into the team when I don't think anyone expected him to. Had an absolutely unreal season, winning the playoffs with us, and then the EFL trophy and second place again with us. I think had he been a centre forward with that level of commitment to the EFL, it would be talked about in the same circles as Billy Sharp, but because he's a centre half, he gets overlooked for it. But in terms of his commitment both to the EFL and to us, he should be in that conversation. He should be regarded as one of the best centre halves in the EFL because they can go away and have the time in the Premier League, etc., etc. But he is just that. He is one of the best centre halves in Rotherham's history and in the EFL. So I'm really happy he's capped it all off with a league title because he deserved one far earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one he kind of summed up at his testimonial night, Tom, where every year Warner kind of thought, I need to get rid of Woody. We need to bring some new legs in and this, that, and other. And every single year Woody turned up and just made himself undroppable and that he had to play every single week. So that's kind of a testament to the character of the bloke and his fitness levels to come along with it as well, to still play at 39. Although he's been injured this year. Shows his commitment levels are incredible.
Yeah, he almost got better with age. So it seemed anyway, although his legs kept going and there was some times where he did definitely get caught for pace, but he read the game so well. He was a leader in and out of the dressing room, as in on the pitch and outside. It seemed like everyone loved him and respected him. And as Danny said, it's really interesting that kind of debate because Billy Sharp gets recognised because he scored X amount of goals, but for a defender, you can't score that many goals, or so it's all subjective technically. Whereas Billy Sharp is more objective. But I think he's right to say that he's up there in that category of best ever EFL players, not let alone defenders, but players in general. And it's going to be an interesting summer now to see what he does next with certain eyeing up certain avenues.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does. I don't know how far along he is in his coaching career. But
Said he's taking his A, so UEFA coaching A. I read somewhere.
Okay, fair enough. Do you think that makes a difference, Ben? We know, or we're led to believe that Matt Hamshaw is very much a coach of a manager. If Richard Wood is up and coming, can Hamshaw kind of afford to take on a leader a little more than a coach, as an assistant or first team coach, or would you still like to see somebody with experience come alongside Hamshaw?
I think it's perfect. I think it'd be a perfect fit for us in terms of, because he's only just retired. I think he's just perfect for that dressing room as a coach. I think he's absolutely perfect. Because coaching badges are just like your driving test. Like, you just do it so you can do the actual job. You don't actually learn anything or use anything on them. It's just all paperwork and it's all a formality. So you don't actually use anything. They're pretty useless. A bit waste of money. You only do it so you can end up doing it. So I think you get him straight in. Get him straight in and get him coaching. Get him coaching and help out with culture around the dressing room, leadership, help the players out, all that. And it's just perfect for us because, again, his affiliation to the club is everyone loves him. Some of the players know him. I think it's perfect.
Fair enough. Do you agree with that, Mick?
100%. Absolutely, 100%. I think from a coaching perspective, I don't think that's necessarily what I would want him in the club, in and around the club for. That would just be an added bonus. And he can earn his stripes coaching under Matt Hamshaw, Andy Warrington, who've been doing it a lot longer, and whoever else Hamshaw brings in if he does.
He earned his stripes.
No, I'm talking about his coaching
As a
stripes.
coach.
As an actual out-and-out coach, his presence, his attitude towards the game, towards training, towards the club is massive, and it will be massive for new players coming in and hopefully, maybe, arguably, for some players staying. So yeah, in a heartbeat, I would have him back. Now he's finished playing, definitely. Definitely.
He ends up on 578 career league appearances. He's done more than that in all competitions, but that puts him in pretty decent company in terms of people that have made that amount of league appearances. Tony Cotty, Sedgwick. Chris Sedgwick played one more than him in his career. Robbie Earle, Judge, who was at Wycombe, played similar numbers as well. So yeah, ridiculous numbers. Is there any point going through a favourite Richard Wood moment? Because it's just got to be Wembley, isn't it? It's just a pointless conversation.
Yeah, part and parcel.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody have an underrated Richard Wood moment?
Wembley.
I would say the opening stages of the Championship season with Paul Warren just before he left for Derby, because Woody were absolutely unreal in the opening stages of that season. Yeah. So if I want to say like the underrated stretch of his career, I'd say that bit. But nothing ever tops Wembley. That were just elite level. That was just Richard Wood at his best, I think. But one thing that's come out interestingly is Matt Hamshaw saying about he wants that coach that's like a mitigator between the academy and the first team, almost like a father figure to the academy before they come into the first team. And Woody has done a little bit of coaching at youth level prior to retiring from professional football. I wonder if that job at Rotherham is a little bit cushioned towards Richard Wood coming into coaching as well.
Possibly. I thought Scarsy were going to go back down to that job. But maybe he's had a year, maybe Scarsy maybe for promotion to the senior settlement, maybe. I don't know. I have an underrated Woody memory was when the last home game, the Borough game where we stayed up, we saw in 2 seconds, we saw the very best and worst of Woody. He got completely done for a pace and got completely wrong footed.
Oh, yeah.
And the player managed to get a shot off, but Woody managed to get back and clear it off the line.
Yeah.
It was just, and again, obviously, if that goes in, we could have had a very, very different afternoon that day. And then he got, quickly wheeled out of the club. unceremoniously. James Willen said the perfect time for a bit of chocolate talk. Do we have any chocolate talk? Mick, you're the instigator. Of
No,
this
I've got nothing for you, mate. I've got nothing at all.
Okay.
Although, having said that, I'm away this weekend. I may well pick up some chocolate on my
Forgot about
travel.
Yeah,
What, you forgot you're away?
No, I forgot about chocolate, to be honest.
Ah.
Yeah, we'll discuss that on Thursday next week. Probably.
Yes.
Let's finish on the League One playoffs. Obviously, the playoffs started tonight with the Championship, so there's a bit of time. The League One games at the weekend, I think. So let's go through, based on who we've played this season, who do we think we will be coming up against? So you've got Leyton Orient against Stockport on Saturday lunchtime, and Wickham and Charlton on the Sunday, and the reverse fixtures next week. Shockingly, having Wickham being in second place literally all season, they've ended up finishing fifth, unbelievably. Based on those four who you've seen this season, Tom, and from what you've seen not playing us, who is your pick of those four to make it to the Championship?
Can I just say as well, Wickham's last 3 games were Charlton, Leyton Orient, and Stockport.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did
they lose them all?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, God. Can you imagine me?
Yeah. Arguably Stockport. I just think that there's... It's hard to say because both times we played them, they were just... They look susceptible at the back, but going forward, they were lightning sharp in points and had players that could finish. So that's kind of all you need. But again, you could never ever predict a playoff campaign because a team will go in there and win based on sheer willpower and momentum. So it's really hard to predict. But based on who deserves to win, basing on best team I've seen, it's Stockport, which no offense to Stockport, but goes to show the class of this league because they were good. They were miles better than us, but they're not Championship. They're miles off Championship. But I think I think Wrexham included, and the 4 teams we mentioned are all way off Championship quality. And again, it proves why. And I know we were all giddy at the start of the season, but it proves that how far we offer a Championship proper season that we can give it a good go to actually stay up because those I'll count all of them as those 5 teams will struggle, including Wrexham, will struggle in the Championship, and that's nothing to do with how bad they are. It's just to do with how good the Championship is. There's such a level and such a drastic level that the teams that are coming down you'll probably see it with Luton, Cardiff, and Plymouth. You'll probably see how good they are next season, and something might happen where what happened to us and not really kick off, but I can see them 3 being up there again, and it'll be another tough year, but maybe not down to the football, maybe just due to how close everyone is in quality. I think based on who I see, Stockport.
Yeah, the form team going into it, Ben, is ironically probably one of the worst teams we saw at New York Stadium with Charlton. They were just bafflingly terrible when we played them at our place, but they've got an incredible run, and as we know, momentum's massive, especially when you get into a playoffs. They'll be one to watch. Well, certainly one to watch because their run's been brilliant.
I think they'll win it. They're the worst team we've seen all season, and Stockport probably the best team we've seen all season, and they won't go. I think Charlton will win it. I think Charlton will manage it. Like you said, they've got momentum at the right time. Wickham have not. I don't think Wickham will make it to the final.
No,
because you lose 3 games. That is so hard to bounce back into a game where you can't take 20 minutes to get used to. You can't take 45 minutes to get settled into like it's playoff. Like you lose the first leg 2-0. Regardless of the football, the pressure that comes on is just unreal. I think Charlton will do it. I think they'll manage. I think Nathan Jones will manage his way through it. When we saw it when they came here, they were crap, and they just tried to just tactic and BS their way to a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little Mourinho style.
Steve Evans.
Yeah, just Mourinho style it a little bit and try and just get the win, not be the better team, just get the win. So I think they'll win it, to be honest. And then I think they'll finish rock bottom.
Probably, yeah. Wickham's a wild drop off. I mean, when they lost Matt Bloomfield, which can happen. We're second in the league, I think they were. You go and get a guy who's never managed before, Mike Dodds. That was a wild appointment at the time, I felt like, and it turned out to be a completely wild prediction because they've ended up fifth. We beat them as well. They beat us 3-2, didn't they? But they just did enough, didn't they? That was almost at our lowest ebb, and they did just about enough to get past us. But that drop off from Wickham is pretty startling, really, especially going into a playoff campaign.
I don't have a problem with it, to be honest. I'm not a fan of Wickham. Not a fan of Wickham at all. After all those years of anti-football that they've played, good. I'm glad.
Sorry,
stay down there. They're not gonna win it. I don't think. I'm with Ben 100%. I think Charlton will do it. Nathan Jones he's been there, seen it, done it as far as playoffs are concerned. And Wickham can stay down here and bore everybody in League One again like they do every year. As far as I'm concerned, I've not got over. I mean, obviously Ainsworth's gone, but when they came to our place, the tactics were virtually the same, And it's not what anybody wants in football. Nobody wants to see that. I don't care who you are or what team you support. Nobody wants to spend 45 minutes of a 90-minute game watching ball roll down touchline while somebody walks in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? It's crap. So good. I'm glad they've lost last three. I'm glad they've no momentum, and I hope that carries on through playoffs.
Okay.
Look at that. Tag Wickham.
Okay, fair enough.
Go on.
Danny, who's your pick?
Well, I'm sorry to say that my section of this is going to be slightly less empowering than Mick's was just then. But I'm with Ben on this one. I think it's going to be Charlton. I think they've got the right motivation, form, and desire to get all the way through it in the playoffs this season. But I also agree with Tom that I'd argue none of the teams are going to be good enough for the Championship. I think Wrexham will be in for a huge shock next season. I think Charlton.
The huge shock comment. Oh, there we go.
Birmingham will finish comfortably, I think, in the Championship. And at all, if Charlton do go up, I agree they will finish in the relegation places because none of the top five behind Birmingham have arguably the better teams to compete in the Championship. But the three that come down, arguably not Cardiff. I think they'll do an us this next season. Early predictions already, guys. Cardiff will probably do an us and finish top end of mid-table if they're lucky. Other two will do all right, I think.
Yeah, I actually think in terms of teams, I think Wrexham will be fine. They'll spend a lot of money. You underestimate the money they have to spend. It's ridiculous, the money they bring in sponsorship-wise.
Yeah.
It's insane. They will be...
Did you see how
17? Yeah.
It was 170 million in sponsors, which is just for a League One club is absurd. And most of it isn't even the owners, is it? It's just them getting paid, and it's ridiculous. So I agree. Yeah. I think, but it was funny because when you do the previews, Matt, and one of the Wrexham fans said that their best player this season by far was Ollie Rathbone, and obviously he's won player of the season, and we know what he's like at Championship level, and if he's their best player going into it, they're going to struggle as much as we struggled, because arguably when we went into the Championship all that time ago with Ollie Rathbone at the helm, he was 6th or 7th best at that time. So for them to go in with him being their best player, and there's no disrespect for him, but if their fans are thinking that, then they're in for a shock if they don't change their entire squad, and that's going to cost money, but money that they probably have. So maybe they'll stay up. Maybe depends how well they spend as well. Because I don't rate Parkinson as a manager all that much.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think it'll last very long. I think it'll last to October, something like that. If they're bottom half at the table, they'll pull trigger and go big. But anyway, this ain't the Wrexham podcast. In terms of League One, I'd like to see Leyton Orient go up, just because I still feel like we stole it from them a little bit 11 years ago, especially based on what happened to them next as well. I think that'd be a really, really good story for Leyton Orient to finally make it to the Championship, having what their fans have gone through, both on and off the field. That'd be the story. I don't think it'll happen. I think I agree with most of you guys. Charlton would go up, but I would like Leyton Orient to go up. And they're a Southern club, and it's a really, really northern league. So if we can get another Southern club out of here, that's a good thing. Sorry to any Southerners listening. Tom's down there. I suppose, Tom, you want Leyton Orient to stay down because they're pretty close to where you are.
Yeah, no, but for the betterment of everyone else, I'm happy with them going up. If that's where the majority lie.
Yeah.
Well, if they go up, then Charlton will stay down. We're also close.
Oh yeah. I hope they both. I hope Stockport goes up because it's the. Oh wait, no, I don't actually. And even Wickham's close to me. I don't care. Like, move on.
Yeah, I don't want Stockport to go up because Stockport and any other three. Although I still like Leyton Orient. Wow, we did manage to somehow get 20 minutes out of that. So well done, everybody. Congratulations.
Just a quick nod down to League Two. Who do we want to come out of the playoffs?
Chesterfield all the way, innit?
Yeah, agree.
If Walsall don't, that might be the worst post-January ever from any team ever. By far. They were 15 points clear at the top. And then Nathan Lowe left and they just absolutely fell off a cliff.
Yeah, they did.
Honestly, ridiculous.
And I imagine a Walsall fan, you get your top scorer taken, and he didn't even play for Stoke. It's not like he went somewhere else and played loads.
They're under 21s, yeah. Human.
Yeah, they were top at Christmas by a mile, and since January they've won 3 games.
Yeah, which is
it's just off a cliff, isn't it?
Yeah.
John S., what's wrong with us Southerners? Nothing wrong with Southerners. It's just really far away. Anything else we need to mention, fellas?
No, not for me.
Fantastic. Thank you all for being with us. Ben, is this the last time that we'll see you in this podcast for a little while?
Maybe, yeah.
No, maybe.
Oh no.
Cryptic.
Yeah, I'm moving. I'm going to Mexico for I don't know how long yet, but I'm going to Mexico.
We'll get you on as our international
correspondent
at some point. Yeah, correspondent. What's the local football team, soccer team over there? Is there a proper one?
I haven't looked yet, actually. That's a good point. I need to look at that.
Where is it? So should we do this live at the show? Or should we do this after we've finished?
It's Puebla.
Puebla. There's a Club Puebla.
I don't know what the league's called. Is it X League or something?
Liga MX, it says.
Yeah, pretty close.
They've won the league a reasonable amount of times. So anybody wants a Mexican football team, that's it, because Ben's going to be close to it. So thank you very much, Ben, for making the effort to turn up tonight. Mick, anything else?
No, but thanks for asking.
All right, Danny, thank you very much. Anything else?
Yep, nothing from me. All good.
Top stuff. And Tom, anything else?
No, thank you for having me on.
Top stuff. So Sunday evening will be a special episode with Lee Peltier. That's out. That'll be out at the normal time, out at 8:00. Make sure you tune in for that for some interesting bits of information from Pelts, who we all love. Then we'll be back next Thursday for the second part of the predictions for whoever's left, which is me, Joy, and Kev, I think. And then the awards show. Week on Sunday, the awards show, the back tie event is back. And then we'll do whatever else could retain list signs, whatever the case may be, over the next few weeks. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already, and make sure you get your notifications for stuff like the Peltier interview, which is coming up shortly. Give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching on X, make sure you've followed us and gone over to YouTube and liked it on there as well. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating and follow or subscribe, whatever your provider allows you to do. Thank you all for watching. We will see everybody next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Ravel. Ambitious. But brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back. And Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's has a chance to seal it.